welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name's Angela. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Rainbow Ange. You can also find an Instagram account and a Facebook page for my little yarn shop. We're called Yarn and Yarns and I'm here recording today. So yeah, the yarn that you see behind me is not my own personal stash. Although my stash it doesn't quite rival what we have in the shop, although my partner James might beg to differ on that one. There's a lot of yarn in the house. Anyway, welcome to Yarn and Yarns, where I'm waffling and off on a tangent already. We are based in South Wales in the UK, just outside of Cardiff. And usually I'm here chatting to you about my knitting projects, sometimes crochet, sometimes spinning, and just general shop news. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I have got a book to review. So we've got quite a busy weekend this weekend. My in-laws are down visiting and I will probably have limited knitting time. So I thought rather than go videoless for a week, I would do a quick review. We've had several new publications into the shop this week. So I might do a quick set of videos perhaps. I'll see what time I've got. We're nearly at the end of the day today, so I'm probably only going to get one recorded today. But perhaps I will get another couple done next week. So the book that I'm going to talk to you about today and give you my thoughts on is this gorgeous book, which is called Bloomsbury. It's a collection of 8 designs for women by Marie Wallen, and it is a Rowan publication, so all of the designs are knit in Rowan felted tweed yarn, which is one of my absolute all-time favourites. So yeah, I thought I'd just take you through the book and tell you my thoughts, so hopefully you'll find that somewhat interesting. So I'll read you a little bit of the blurb at the front. Obviously I'm not going to give away everything because it's a paid for book, but the inspiration behind the collection Bloomsbury is inspired by the lifestyle and culture of the Bloomsbury group of artists and writers at the turn of the century. The Bloomsbury group defined a new era in the decorative arts, and colour palette is Rowan felted tweed, as I've mentioned, and the particular colour choices have been made to reflect some of the colours that you'll see in the British countryside, and particularly there is a mention of springtime. So as per usual, the photography in these books is absolutely gorgeous, but we shall go through the designs and I shall chat to you about them one by one. There's only 8, so it shouldn't take long. So the first design in the collection is the cover star here, and the cover star is called Dora, and she is a beautiful jumper with a colourwork yoke. And I always love the styling of the photographs in these kind of books. Isn't that gorgeous? That skirt's just beautiful. So yeah, it's a really simple jumper design with a colourwork yoke. So if you've not done much colourwork before, this could be a good one to start with. And unusually for these publications, this jumper is actually knit in the round. So it's a bottom-up jumper, so you cast on at the bottom, you're knitting up the body, and then you've got the colourwork yoke at the end after you've split for the sleeves. Who knew that would be tricky to say? There's no shaping or anything in this jumper. So yeah, it should be quite a good one, I would think, for anyone wanting to dip their toes into colourwork. The all-in-one thing is quite unusual for these publications. As I say, most often Rowan are quite traditional in that they have a lot of patterns which are knit in pieces and then sewn up. So my only reservation about this jumper is the neckline, and I think you can most clearly see it on the photograph on the front cover. Particularly on this side, there's a sort of strange bump there, so you can really almost see where that sort of the flat knitting ends and then the decreasing for the neckline begins. Obviously this model is super slender. She's got a gorgeous figure, and a lovely beautiful long neck as well. So maybe some of us who are more amply proportioned might fill this out a little bit better. I don't know. but yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about that strange little shoulder pad thing going on there. So if I were to knit this, I would possibly fiddle around with the neckline, but I think that would be a fairly easy modification to make. The second pattern is called Frances, and Frances is a lovely cardigan with a lace yoke and also some lace detail around the sleeves and the bottom. So that's really the only kind of full picture, so it's a little bit tricky to see the detailing there, but I think on these close-up shots you can see that really gorgeous lace detail. Almost reminds me of kind of trellising. I like the neckline on this a lot better. It sits a lot flatter. So yeah, that same lace detail is followed around the cuffs and the bottom of the cardigan. Raglan sleeves by the looks of it. I don't think there's really much else to say about that one. The colour is pretty that they've chosen. Not sure that it would be my particular choice. And those buttons are super nice as well. So that, yeah, that's just really simple and elegant. I like that one a lot. I'm not sure how I feel about that lace. It's quite delicate in terms of me particularly, but I could definitely see that on a lot of people I know. It's just very simple and elegant, beautiful. The third pattern in the collection is called Angelica, and it's another colourwork one. And while I like the colourwork, there's a few things that would concern me about this particular one for me. So there's a picture of the jumper overall. That one probably gives you a little bit of a better idea. So as you can see, two colours, lovely panels of colourwork, different types of patterning as well, which is really nice. The things that would concern me on this one, for me, is this massive swathe of ribbing. I think on me this would fall just completely in the wrong place. I am not a small person, so I am quite wide around this midsection, so I think that rib would probably fall in just the wrong place. So if I were to ever make this for myself, I would probably have to extend it a bit, I think. And also I'm not so keen on the long ribbed cuff on the sleeves as well. Obviously I appreciate you can roll those back, so that would be a definite option, but yeah, there's just something about that doesn't necessarily appeal to my particular aesthetic. One other thing that I think I need to be very careful about if I were to make this is, because there are quite a few sections of just plain stockinette, breaking up the colour work, I think even in this sample garment there's quite a noticeable difference in tension between those plain sections and the colour work sections, and I think you can see particularly on the sleeves, again you get this kind of like in and out kind of effect where the tension's obviously slightly tighter in that colour work, which is only natural, but I do struggle with tension quite a lot. I'm quite a loose knitter, and yeah, I think my consistency, I might need to do the colour work trick of swapping up and down needle sizes. I haven't read through the pattern details in earnest, so whether that, I'm just having a quick flick through to see if I can see whether there are any recommendations for that. But yeah, I think I probably have to swatch. I don't think I'm sighing because the instructions say join in the colours as required using the Fair Isle technique as described on the information page, which that kind of flicking backwards and forwards through things kind of annoys me. I guess you get that more often in the book, and I often work from single patterns, so yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say anything about changing needle sizes. It just says about keeping your floats loose and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'd probably have to do quite a bit of swatching if I ever fancied making that jumper, which is the Angelica. And considering I have already knit a jumper that is called Angelica, that would be really confusing. So just as a quick aside for anyone who might be watching this for the first time, this was the Angelica that I knit earlier on this year, which is an Ericanite pattern. So yeah, that'll probably be quite personally confusing for me. Doesn't take much. Next, and this is probably vying with one other project for my favourite. Actually, I've got a top 3, I think, in this book. So the next pattern is called Virginia, and it's an all over colourwork cardigan in lots of beautiful colours. So there's a closer up image. So yeah, lots of lovely colours, very traditional. It has got corrugated rib, which again, a very traditional kind of look and technique, and I really like it. I recently bought Marie Wallen's Shetland book, which is jumpers and cardigans knit in Jameson and Smith's Spindrift, I think. Certainly one of those, or maybe the jumper weight Jameson Spindrift, Jameson and Smith's jumper weight. I'm not sure which, but they're fairly interchangeable. And this definitely reminds me of some of the designs that are in that Shetland book. So if you're a fan of that book, you would definitely love this one as well. There's nothing that I really don't like about that. The neckline is super pretty, super flattering. The only thing, again, about these designs is I think they're knit in pieces. Yeah, so the designs are knit in pieces, so if you're not a fan of purling in colour work, then you might want to do a little bit of a conversion to put in a steek, which I think should be fairly doable. Lots of different colours used in this particular jumper. 12 different colours of felted tweed used in that jumper, which is exciting. A lot of them only would need one ball of the colour, so I think it would be quite a fun project to do in pieces. You wouldn't necessarily have to buy the yarn all at once, although a lot of yarn is required. I think you could do the bands of colour and just buy the odd ball here and there as you progress. So those sorts of things make what could potentially be an expensive piece seem a little bit more affordable if you're just buying one or two here and there. The next jumper in the collection is called Rosamund, and this is probably my least favourite in the book. I think it is pretty enough, but I think it would just look god awful on me. It's cabled and ribbed, it's quite oversized, and let's try to show you. So there's the main picture, and there are two other pictures, but it's the same model throughout this book. And if I can just show you here, as we've already seen, this model has a super duper nice slender figure, and here all this bulk just makes her look much bigger than she is. There's obviously a lot of ease in the sleeves, so on someone like me that is going to be super unflattering. So while I can appreciate the elegance and prettiness of the jumper, of the design, it just wouldn't be for me. Lydia is the next design in the collection, and this is a short sleeve sweater. Again, very pretty, but I can't really see myself in this. I think maybe if I changed up the colour choices, I would like it a little bit better. But yeah, there's just something about it which doesn't capture my imagination as much as the other patterns in this book. Very pretty design nonetheless, but just not for me, I don't think. But again, it's a really pretty neckline on this one, and I think the short sleeves are quite sweet. I guess for me, something like this is obviously going to be quite warm when you're working in colour work. You're working with 2 strands. I would be tempted to go even shorter with the sleeves so that I could maybe layer it with something underneath, because I think if it's cold enough to wear something like this, you're probably going to want something covering your arms. But that's just my opinion on that one. You out there may feel completely differently. The next jumper is Vita, and this is one of my favourites in the collection. Now, you might think it's a bit odd considering it's quite oversized and it has some similar features to the other jumper that I've just said that I didn't particularly like, the green one. So what was the green one was Rosamund. But I think, so this has got lace, cables and a little bit of ribbing. But I really love it. I think it's so pretty and elegant. It's slightly cropped. I could definitely see myself wearing it. I think the ribbing and the cables and the lace are spread out a little bit more across the design, which I think would make it a little bit more wearable than the green Rosamond in terms of the bulk. Again, super bulky sleeves. It's a bit difficult to show you these now because the light that we've got here is not super great. But yeah, I just think that is so pretty. I could see myself wearing the heck out of that if I ever had the patience to knit it. So it's got quite a nice wide neckline on that. Again, my only reservation is sometimes when you go up to the bigger sizes, the necklines just seem super huge, so I probably have to keep an eye on that. The size range in this book is pretty good. And a lot of the jumpers have quite a lot of ease built in, which means that if you don't mind slightly less ease, then I think the size range is even broader than stated in the pattern. So for instance, the Dora jumper, which is the lovely cover star, smallest size is a 32 to 34, the largest size is a 48 to 50, but when you look at the finished measurements on the schematic, the smallest size is 35 and the largest size in terms of the bottom body circumference is 54. So yeah, if you don't mind, as I say, a little bit less negative ease, I think you could certainly adapt this to slightly larger sizes, which is always of interest to me as a bigger person, and I know there are more of us out there. And the Vita, for instance, again, it's the same size range, 32 up to size 50-inch chest, but this one has a huge amount of positive ease. So the actual finished circumference of the biggest size in the Vita is 67 inches, so plenty of room for larger sizes. You might just need to watch, obviously, the other proportions if you are of a larger build, to make sure that your sleeves are going to fit and things like that. But again, these are quite oversized, so I'm pretty sure that this would accommodate a lot of body shapes and sizes fairly comfortably. So one more pattern left, and this is the third of the three that I really love. So the Vita, which was that lacy all-in-one, which was the cables, the lace, all in one colour. The Virginia, which was the all over colourwork cardigan. And the last one is Vanessa. This is also an all over colourwork cardigan. There is one element that I don't like about this, but I think that is pretty easy to swap out in terms of design. So here we go. There are the beautiful things. I think I just love these colour choices. They're so autumnal and lovely to me, even though this was meant to be spring inspired. But I'm not super enamoured with that particular chart across the middle there. I'd have to do a little bit of checking, but I think looking at it proportionally, there's a possibility that we could maybe swap in another one of those instead of that particular one. And these kind of designs are repeated up and down, so I don't think that would really be a problem to swap those over. Three-quarter length sleeves on that one, which I think is slightly better, but again, because there are lots of smaller design elements, I think with a bit of calculation you could probably extend the sleeves if you fancied something a little bit longer on that one. So overall, I really love this book. Great variety of sizes, a beautiful mix of jumpers and cardigans, some lacy patterns, some cable patterns, and some beautiful colour work. 8 patterns, and the book recommended retail price is $14.99, so I think that's fairly good value for such a beautiful quality book. And you know, the photography in here is stunning, so I think, you know, even if you really only thought that perhaps you'd knit one project from this book, I think it'd still be a lovely one to have on the shelf. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Bloomsbury collection. I hope you enjoyed that video. Yeah, let me know below, because if you don't, then I probably won't do many more of them. The other bit, just to let you know, in case you are thinking maybe that one wasn't for me, but you might be interested in the other reviews that I'm thinking about doing. I've got the Lally Lala Beetles, Bugs and Butterflies book, which is a crochet amigurumi book, so I'm thinking about sharing my thoughts on that one. And then also the new Rowan magazine is about to be launched, and it's Rowan's 40th anniversary this year, so one half of the collection is designs all in red to celebrate their ruby anniversary. So I'm thinking about recording videos reviewing both of those publications. So yeah, let me know if you have enjoyed the video, and whether you would enjoy hearing my thoughts on those other 2 books. Until next time. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate your company. Until next time, lots of woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.